I'm back.
Jeremy's back, dude.
Let's go.
It's been a minute, dude.
Dude, it's been a good minute, man.
It's been a hot minute. We want that minute to be seconds.
I'm hoping that things will be like, a little bit easier at home so I can, get some content out there.
Do you want to tell the audience what's been going on? Just fill them in on what's up, why you haven't been around? What's going on?
Yeah, so my wife and I actually bought an RV and we've moved into an RV. And we're just kind of planning on traveling the country with our kids. And so the reason why I was gone is I was basically just getting the RV ready and transitioning from our house to the RV. It was
downsizing, big time.
It was tough. We got through it, and I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm going a little cuckoo right now.
Over the nest. The nest
Nice.
That is the RV.
Nice. There you go.
Okay, guys. Welcome back to the show. As you saw, we are glad to have Jeremy back. We are bringing an explosive film today and a great psychedelic 1960s novel. Okay? So, as you saw on the title of the video, we're talking about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, full disclosure, both of us intended to finish it, but you tapped out a little bit into the book.
Yeah.
There were some reasons you can get into it. But tonight's discussion is going to mostly be revolving around the film. I will read a couple of things in here and kind of discuss maybe some differences or some interesting things that you might not have gotten to. And those of you that haven't read the book, haven't seen, or people that are just familiar with the movie don't know about. So
yeah, it's going to be a good mix, I think.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to talk about here. And we're going to do it the way we normally do it, guys. We're going to start off with a quick review over the thing, and then we're just going to go headlong into spoilers. So that is your cue to tap out and come back in. If you haven't seen the movie or read the book, come back and give us a like, a subscribe, maybe a comment, something like that.
Yeah.
We're ready to do this. Do you want to start off, or do you want me to
I'll start off. I mean, I'll start off with a book, kind of my rating, out of 5 on the book.
How far did you get?
I got about halfway.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more than halfway.
Cool. Yeah. It's not super long.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I didn't finish it, so maybe my
Consider
rating
that.
isn't but it wasn't that great. I really didn't enjoy the book hardly at all.
Okay.
Because it was just a pain to get through, and I think maybe part of that was I like to do the audiobooks, and so I think it was just hard for me to grasp the attention doing the audiobook for some weird reason on this book. And I also think that the reason why I may not have enjoyed it that much is because I hold the movie in such high regard. Mm-hmm. And so I was almost wanting the book to kind of live up to that. I feel like if I had read the book first, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more than I had.
Yeah, I suspect that your expectation of it from the movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, like 1 out of 5, honestly, like a 1 on the book. It was pretty...
So you thought it was bad?
Yeah, I just really didn't like it.
Heard. Okay. And the movie?
And the movie, it's funny. It's like, dude, it's like a 5. It's like a straight
This is like almost, if not a perfect movie for you?
Almost a perfect movie. It's literally like maybe... It's got to be in my top 5 all-time
I can see
movies.
that. I can see that.
Yeah, I think... I'll get into a little bit more of why I really enjoyed it, but yeah, it's just the acting, the story... it's just a roller coaster without needing to show a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So, and I really like that. So everybody should go watch it. I think anybody who's an avid movie goer, should see this film. There are some darkness to the film, but there's a lot of lightness to it too. So there's just so many contrasts in this movie that just makes it super fun.
Cool. I'll go next. I think for me, the book is going to land at I'll say solid 3.5.
Okay.
Because I got through the whole thing, and there's enough difference here between the book and the movie that I kind of can view it as a bit of its own thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things about the book is it's through the perspective of a character that you don't expect if you're familiar with the movie. We'll go into our spoiler parts where I can kind of discuss that a little bit more. And that's unexpected. I wasn't really counting on that, and it made it fresh for me. It made it feel like, okay, this is a bit of a twist for me to come into it, having seen the movie and then going like, oh, it's not. The narrator of this isn't. I thought it was going to be the Jack Nicholson character, right? And then it isn't. So I think I want to kind of just save most of it for the discussion. Just know that I enjoyed it. Thought it was pretty cool. Definitely a product of its time. The anti-establishment, psychedelic stuff. There's some interesting things with this is in a mental institution, and we have a bit of a unreliable narrator thing going on here. So very important for how you perceive this book. I'm almost with you on the movie being like a perfect film. It is like a hair underneath it. I'm going to say like a 4.5, maybe a 4.7-ish. It's very close to perfectly written. My issues with it that give it a bit of a point docked off is the tone of it is a bit all over the place, and I found it just a tad off-putting. I felt like I get the story. It's like, hey, there's a reminder that this is a bleak kind of story, but they still laugh and there's still this like funny stuff. But like, how do you tell people what this movie is? Do you tell them it's a comedy? Do you tell them it's a day in the life? I mean, like, how do you even like explain this to somebody? You just kind of have to see it and feel it. Mm-hmm. It's hard to like peg down as something, right?
Yeah, I think it includes, and maybe one of the reasons why I like it so much is that it includes a lot of different types of films, at least from like an emotional standpoint for me. So
no,
like
we're on the same page.
Comedy I think is one aspect of the film, but then another
it's a huge chunk. I felt like there were moments that I laughed at a lot of moments,
big time.
I think it's a major part. I want to say it's like 70% comedy. It's so funny.
It's a comedy without being like advertised.
It's not being funny. Yeah. It's not, and some of it is not trying to be funny, but you just like find it funny.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's where I land. Everything you said as far as the acting ability, the technical shots and everything, all on point. It was just the tonal shifts that I was kind of a bit like, it got a bit whiplashy in a way I personally didn't enjoy it that much. I rated it very high. It's a small knock.
Sure. So I'm kind of curious, like what do you mean?
Really? So let's go into the spoilers. So
okay,
that's where we're at. We're just going to talk about the movie now. So yeah.
What do you mean really? Like as an example?
Well, okay. So you're supposed to have this. You almost get this adversarial concept between McMurphy, the Jack Nicholson character, and Nurse Ratched.
Right.
So there's it almost does this like Western thing. Remember you said there was like this kind of tone where they're like the high noon kind of thing, this like adversarial thing, and you want to take it seriously, and they are doing serious things, like really serious stuff happens in this movie, and then to have a scene punctuated with something that's really disturbing, like I kind of wanted to stay in that happy like funny area where we were just kind of joking about the absurdity of these characters and the absurdity of these situations. And like, I really wanted to like stay in that. And then when it pulled me out, like it was effective, but it wasn't my favorite feeling. So specifically with like the self-harm stuff, like it gets heavy.
Yeah.
And fine, I can handle heavy stories, but if I wanted it to be like some of the stories that I liked that have like a sad ending, I kind of want to sit in it and maybe very, very occasionally have something funny happen, not mostly be funny and then it pulls the rug out from under you. It just wasn't my favorite version of this.
Right.
But I completely get why people did enjoy it and like it just that kind of was the part that took me out of it a little bit.
Maybe again, just too abrupt.
I rated it very high.
Yeah, it's just a little bit maybe too abrupt. I could see that because I mean, also some of the decision making I think from some of the characters maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So like some of these characters in the mental institution are like not following rules, or so Nurse Ratched seems like this very authoritative figure, but a lot of her actions may seem like they're very authoritative, but there's other things that she like lets slide or just turns the other cheek. And so like sometimes that kind of brought me out of the, magic of the film because I'm like, wait, that doesn't necessarily match what I'm feeding off of what that actress is giving me.
Right, because it's making you feel like she's, like you said, an authoritative, dictatory role. She's taking that role.
Right.
And then, well, for me, that's kind of realistic to people that power goes to their head, where they pick and choose when they're going to enact, when they're going to hold something and when they aren't. and to the fear and mire of the people that are in the institution. They don't know what she's gonna focus on. She doesn't care that the music is what it is. She just wanted to tell them no.
Right.
It has nothing to. She doesn't give a shit if the old people are listening to the music or not. If she decided she didn't like the music, she was gonna turn it down.
Oh yeah, she's kind of like they think of her as a loose cannon, but she does not look or act like a loose cannon at all.
Right.
But there is that like fear of, well, what will she do?
Yeah.
And
how will this affect us?
Yeah, she was probably one of my favorite characters in this whole film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, McMurphy was, dude, man, he's like one of the guys, and to see that within a mental institution, it's just a fun dynamic, and
he really comes in there with chaos.
Yeah.
He's pure chaos,
and in an environment that is supposed to not be at all.
Right. Well, you do see when it slips. You do see when things get out of control. Like, it's like one of the first meetings, if not the first meeting they have, when they're talking the therapy session, and then all of a sudden it goes off the rails, and the one guy's like tripping, and they have to like shut it down because the one guy's like, I don't want to talk about my wife, and then they start bickering, and Jack Nicholson's like, he's like, okay, what's the dynamic here? He's like trying to figure it out.
Right.
And you get the vibe that until Jack Nicholson gets there, that's kind of like what all of their stuff is. All of their meetings kind of go that way. Mm-hmm. Because she's not phased. She doesn't seem to put a stop to it right away. She's just like
every other Tuesday for her, you know.
Right, yeah. Right. So I definitely got that vibe from the performances here. I forget the actress's name. Do you remember the actress's name for? I think she won an Academy Award for this Best Supporting Actress.
I can't remember.
Well, I'll put a note up here. I'll write her name up there.
Fantastic.
She was great. I was like, what else has she been in? I don't even know. But this performance is, no matter what else she did, this is going to be her her best performance. Yeah, I almost want to say I like Jack Nicholson better in this than I did in The Shining.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's such a fun character to play. There's so many like ups and downs with what he goes through, and from like an actor standpoint, this is like the perfect film. Like, you want to be in this movie. Yeah. Like, all of the characters are super cool.
They all have interesting things. Yeah.
All of them. And
Bibbit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought Danny DeVito's Danny DeVito's performance is
where he just like,
it literally,
I bet a dime.
Or no,
he cracks the crap. That's right.
I'm surprised you didn't crack any right here.
Oh no, shit! I should have done that.
Right.
I bet a dime.
But when I first saw this movie, I was like, dude, did they get like a? As I didn't recognize Danny DeVito when the first time I saw this film.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was him, and I was like, dude, did they really get? Because his performance is that good.
Yeah. You just see this little small man running around in there. No, great. Like, they all have like unique looks to them. Brad Dourif, you know who Brad Dourif is, right?
No.
Did you ever see the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yeah.
He's the guy that whispers in the king's ear. And he's called Grima Wormtongue. If I show you a picture of him, you would recognize him. Yeah. He does the voice for Chucky.
Oh, okay.
So
who did he play in?
The Billy Bibbit when he's like talking like this.
Oh, gotcha.
That's Brad Dourif. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's like in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
On Sunday afternoon, and
he did a really great job here. I think what would be cool is to sort of give you an idea about my enjoyment of this, and I feel like it really lends itself to actually reading and not doing the audiobook. I don't know what the actor was like and like how, because sometimes they get really dramatic, but I did highlight a couple of portions here, if you don't mind, and if you guys don't mind, I'd like to read a couple of the lines, because for me, one of my enjoyment of books is going back and like reading a paragraph that I really liked, or reading a sentence again and going like, wait a minute, like, man, that was kind of beautifully written, right? So I had a couple in here. If you're cool, I'd like to read one, just kind of give you an idea of like why like lines stuck out for me. And I totally get why this wasn't an enjoying book for you. Like I understand that.
It was difficult to read.
Yeah. There's a couple things that like stood out for whatever reason, and I can't even tell you why these lines I like marked, but I really liked them. And a lot of it is written conversationally. Like, he's almost recounting the story to somebody else. The book, by the way, I don't think I mentioned this earlier,
Not yet, no.
is written through the perspective of the chief. The
Right.
chief is telling this story.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things that happens in here that doesn't happen in the movie, they can't really show it, I can understand why it's hard, is he's suffering from pretty major PTSD from several things. But one of his, like, recurring, like, nightmares or hallucinations that he has is this fog. This fog that kind of comes into the place, and he recounts later to McMurphy. He's like, yeah, well, I was, I think he's a Vietnam vet. I think he's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah, I think
and
so.
then McMurphy's a Korean War veteran, and so they kind of bond in this way. And he, there was this fog machine that would hide where they were on an aircraft carrier. And he was like, it's a double-edged sword because, like, yeah, we'd be able to hide in it, but then so would the enemy. You see them,
they can benefit
they can
off of
hide.
this.
They can
Yeah.
hide also. So there's this sort of fear with this fog, and he calls the institution, the idea of people holding him down, the Combine. He like colloquially refers to them as the Combine, and you know what a Combine is? It's like a harvesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that do? What does the field look like after you run a combine over it?
It's all like lined up.
It makes everybody uniform. It makes
Right.
everybody the same. Why do they want him? Because he doesn't bend. He sticks out still. That was like one of the concepts of remembering what the combine is. Because combine has several meanings, but
Sure.
the concept is it takes everybody that doesn't fold and throws them in a mental institution because you don't fit. Again, very psychedelic. Okay, so let me just read a couple of these things. That's why I hold no grudge against you for the questions you asked me during the meeting today. You're only playing your role. If you had been on the carpet, or you, Billy, or you, Fredrickson, I would have attacked you just as cruelly as you attacked me. We mustn't be ashamed of our behavior. It's the way we little animals are meant to behave.
Like reiterating kind of being put in a orderly fashion following that.
When
Kind
they're
of-
doing the therapy, he plays along because it's easier.
Right.
Even though he doesn't really doesn't like the line of questioning or whatever.
Right.
So I get a smell of something that makes me realize for the first time since I've been in the hospital that this big dorm full of beds sleeps 40 grown men. Has always been sticky with 1,000 other smells. Smells of germicide, zinc ointment, foot powder, smell of piss and sour old man manure, of pablum and eye wash, of musty shorts and socks, musty even when they're fresh back from the laundry. The stiff odor of starch in the linen, the acid stench of morning mouths, the banana smell of machine oil, and sometimes the smell of singed hair. But never before now, before he came in, the man smell of dust and dirt from the open fields, and sweat and work. That really puts an image in your head, right?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I don't
Very,
know how
very
much...
descriptive. I do like that.
Yeah,
one.
I think it, I don't know. Again, because I could, if you're listening to somebody just read that, you're just going to keep continuing on with the story. But I stopped and I was like, oh, wait, let me read that again. That was kind of cool. I didn't say so, but I was wondering if maybe he wasn't wrong. I noticed McMurphy's exhaustion earlier on the trip home after he insisted on driving past the place where he lived once. We just shared the last beer and slung the empty can out the window at a stop sign, and we were just leaning back to get the feel of the day, swimming in the kind of tasty drowsiness that comes over you after a day of going hard at something you enjoy doing. Half sunburned and half drunk, and keeping awake only because you wanted to savor the taste as long as you could.
Jeez.
I noticed vaguely that I was getting so as I couldn't see some of the good in the life around me. McMurphy was teaching me. I was feeling better than I'd remembered feeling since I was a kid, when everything was good and the land was still singing kids' poetry to me.
Jeez, that's deep.
There's some good lines in here, man.
That is pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's more. I didn't highlight all of them, but that's why this book was like a 3.5 for me. It's not the best book I've ever read, but there's some interesting ideas going on here.
Yeah, I guess for me, there is a lot of like metaphorical, philosophical type undertones in the book that I kind of need things to be spelled out to me in a book, which is interesting because in like films and stuff, I like to think about it philosophically, even though they're showing it to you on the screen.
Right.
So
you almost have to do the opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I do struggle with books that are trying to like make you think and
what are they trying to say?
Right. And I can appreciate it in some regards. Like that last line, you know, it took me a second, and I think I actually, I think that was toward the end. So I don't think I got to that, but I was really kind of focusing in on what the words are meaning. And it takes me like an extra second. And I think it probably just means that I need to go through it and maybe read it a second time to really appreciate it.
I actually have a physical like look at it instead of listening to somebody do it.
Yeah, it's different.
That's what I was trying to explain when I was talking about Cormac McCarthy. I was like, when he gets into his more like difficult books, you kind of have to read slow, and you kind of have to go back, and you have to go, wait, what? And I think this book has a little bit of that, because he is writing. It's a stream of consciousness. He's kind of telling the story, but it's also like the chief's perspective.
And also, he's not quite all there too.
There you go. There's that. Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to pick up on.
Yeah, where he's kind of telling you about the fog coming in. You're going like, what is he talking about?
Right. And he's like recollecting also like his heritage with the Indian culture too. And so it's
right that he sold his dad sold his land because his mom like convinced him to do it, and then he got depressed about it and became an alcoholic. And he says there's a great line, and I think it's in the movie, where he's like, he didn't suck away the bottle sucked away him.
Right.
I was like, fuck. I was like, that's a great line. That's a 10 out of 10 line right there, dude. Because how many people have seen that? How many people like in their life know someone that like,
and it's so true too.
It's so true.
If you've had anybody in your life that has suffered from alcohol, like, it's a
where,
great way to put it.
Yeah. So very good. So yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know if that gives you an idea of like where I was at on this.
Yeah.
Where I was like, man,
I kind of figured you'd have a high rating for the book.
Yeah, I might even say that if I read it again, I'd probably like it even more. Now that I know like what the vibe is. And there's some pretty key differences, you know, kind of throughout it. The guy that gets drug away, he's like got the glasses. They end up putting him in the disturbed ward upstairs. That guy drowns in the pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's like, he gets himself underneath like a grate and holds himself under and kills himself. And the guys, the attendees can't get him. And he dies in there. And then Nurse Ratched throws it in McMurphy's face later, because what happens to Billy Bibbit also happens in the book. So she's like, you come in here and you fucking throw a wrench in here, and this is what happens when you behave like this. Mm-hmm. So
one big question that I contemplate when watching this movie is who is the protagonist and the antagonist in this? Like, is McMurphy evil, or is Nurse Ratched evil? And it was kind of fun to contemplate and justify that either one is evil.
Mm-hmm. You can kind of make the argument both ways,
right? And so
you can do it in the book better. The movie kind of, I have something to say about that big time, which clued me in that he's definitely the good guy. But go on.
Yeah, and I'm leaning more toward McMurphy being the good guy, but there are some things that I'm like, yeah, like if McMurphy didn't have this attitude and, you know, persona and really wanted to change things up into the ward, then perhaps things wouldn't have happened the way it did for Billy. And so, but then another part of me is like, well, Nurse Ratched
she's the one that threatened him.
Right. She was the one that literally made him.
Whatever happened, whatever McMurphy's influence on him, like he came out of that room with that gal, like smiling, tripping over himself. He was so elated.
Yeah, and what did she ask him? Like, aren't you ashamed of yourself? And he didn't even stutter. He's like, or he might have stuttered.
No, he doesn't start off stuttering. It comes in after she threatens him.
Right. That's just good. This is good storytelling.
It's a great little visual details. There's a really good visual detail as well towards the end after McMurphy's death, where it's showing what the other residents are up to now. Because in a way, Ratched, she goes, well, you know, after Billy Bibbit dies, she goes, well, we just need to get back in routine again. Which is really cold.
Yeah.
And the wrong thing to say.
Yeah.
But
it's okay to feel feelings after something traumatic like
right.
that.
And then, but then when McMurphy dies, that's exactly what it shows. You know, obviously the time jump, but it shows them going back into routine. But what do you notice? They're gambling.
It's like
So
McMurphy is there.
something about McMurphy stayed.
Resonated with all of them.
Right. And what happens is you kind of get a little bit of the chief's kind of thoughts on it. And when he euthanizes McMurphy, there's almost like a legend about him, like brewing right after it, where they don't know if he left or whatever. And there's a part where like people will go to like I want to go grab a magazine so they can walk by and peek. They can kind of see where he is. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that's not even his body because his face is so beat up from the treatment. And so he's like puffy and he looks weird. And they're like, that's not him. So there's like weird thing where they're unsure if that's him. It is him, but they're like, they don't want to believe that's him. Mm-hmm. So he takes him out. And it's supposed to be this like, man, you're a husk of what you were. He wouldn't want this, so you get that. But there's also he wants the other patients to remember him as a hero, to remember his rebellious spirit. It wasn't just, I'm helping my friend move on to the afterlife or whatever, whatever his thought on that was.
Right.
It was, like martyrdom. It was like, let them remember him for the big thing that he did, or let them think he got away, he won. Mm-hmm. Don't let them think Nurse Ratched won.
Because she did.
So there is a part. Well, he kind of did too. Again, you see the gambling.
Yes.
And you see everybody start.
Dang. Yeah,
they all start doing things.
Man, dude, this movie, man, is.
There's
deep.
a lot. There's a
lot of things.
Yeah.
Dude. It just makes you think but doesn't make you overly like think about things. Like, think about movies like, not to knock on these movies because I still think they're good movies, but like the Christopher Nolan movies, like Inception and stuff, mm-hmm. and it really forces you to kind of really think about, what's going on or what's mm-hmm. the meaning behind it, or but this one makes you think in a very philosophical, like understanding how these characters make these decisions. And dude, I just love this movie so much.
Inception was fun, but I'd much rather watch this movie again.
Big time, yeah. It's crazy. I've only seen this movie twice. I don't know why, but I don't have easy access to it. It's not like on any streaming services.
All right.
So if I did, I'd be watching it all the time. Mm. And I don't ever really see it played like on TV and stuff. Probably because of how long it is.
I noticed that this is just like, I remember talking about this in our anniversary special. Where I was like, one of the things that the interesting things about this project has been, learning about you guys, my friends, my brother, Art, through going through stories together and kind of like finding what fruits you're picking as you're walking through. As I'm over here looking at this bush and you're over here looking at this tree.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an okay metaphor to use. But
yeah. Because I wouldn't necessarily pick out like the wording of stuff. So that's just an example. Yeah.
Right. And one of the things I noticed, one of the things I said at that special was that, it is cool to like learn about y'all's character and the things that you value by like what you're paying attention or what stands out. Whereas a piece of music might really affect you in this, and or an actor's performance might stand out for this, or the lack of a conversation might mean a lot. You just never know what we're going to pick out. And what I've noticed is that this was your recommendation that we do this. You wanted to talk about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
And I find that intriguing because it's challenging in several ways in terms of like you said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to like figure out about the movie. It's not trying to confuse you, just philosophically, where do you stand? What do you think?
Right.
What was going on in the decade? There's a lot to consider here. But you chose Shawshank Redemption also. And I noticed that both these characters, that there's a fuck the system kind of thing. The system is unfair. Stand out. Don't be like everybody else because it doesn't help. Because Dufresne was rebellious, like all the way. But there's something about these two stories that like you rated Shawshank probably the highest.
Yeah,
this is the other one.
They're like competing,
and they're like kind of similar.
They're very similar.
So
almost exactly.
There's something in your psyche. There's something in your like what is it about your personality as Jeremy that like Why do you like these characters that say fuck the system that's unfair to them?
I think I really enjoy, because this is how I live my life, is that I don't like to follow the normal aspect of certain things. I think I do follow the normal aspect of like, oh, I'm a guy, I'm supposed to like sports and this and this.
I'm chomping at the bit to like say stuff. I'm like, are you sure? No, go on, make your point.
But like, for example, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that I literally uprooted my life and my whole family's life to go live in an RV.
You walk by the beat of your own drum.
Right. So I like to challenge myself, to put myself in uncomfortable situations on purpose and kind of go away from the normal aspects of it. So I think you're right. And I don't think I've even realized this, but yeah, both of these stories kind of do that. They're beating to their own drum. They're not conforming to what their little, environment is telling them to do. Mm-hmm. And I do enjoy that. Now, not to say that I'm super rebellious, because I think I still live my life in a very normal, combine sort of way. But it's fun to derail from that combine and go plant a seed somewhere else. And so, because a lot of these characters still follow the combine to an extent, and they just plant their seeds in other avenues. And so,
the idea that these patients, some of them volunteer to go there.
Gosh. Yeah. And McMurphy, he's like the audience's, he's the brain of the audience. Like, dude, what the, that's what we're all thinking. And he's just speaking it out for everyone.
Oh, yeah. The way he's like, what? There's only a couple of y'all that are forced to be here?
And he's the one that's committed. He's not voluntarily there. Yeah, I mean, he's placed there for...
It's between that and the workyard at prison, so...
Right.
It's a bit of a choice. But,
sure.
But yes, still, he'd rather be free.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, the chief thinks that Nurse Ratched, because of how controlling she is, that she's like... I don't think this is happening in the hospital, but, like, he makes you think that Nurse Ratched is somehow manipulating the clock because the chief loses track of time. So he thinks that she's making time go by faster or in between breakfast and lunch longer just to fuck with them. And it's hard to tell where you go, is she capable of that? Or is this him being warped in his perception?
Sure.
Which is how I took it. I took it as him. He's like, he just looks at her as a controlling person. So he like, when he feels uncomfortable with how long stuff takes, he just blames it on her.
Right. That's the most reasonable explanation that they can think of.
Yeah, because he's a strange guy.
Yeah.
He's a very strange guy, convincing everybody he's deaf and dumb. Meanwhile, the words that I read to you are his. He's very, very smart. Clued in. He's very thoughtful.
I do kind of
aside from the losing track of the combine and thinking they're controlling his mind in a different way.
I do kind of wish that, because I think they connect, McMurphy and Chief connect in the movie, but it would have been cool to see a little bit more connection. Nice. How did I miss that, dude?
Juicy fruit.
Yeah, I got juicy fruit. He was,
nice.
Juicy fruit.
Yeah. Was that in the book? I doubt that was in the book.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it. I finished it this morning, and I was trying to kind of read fast, but
yeah. But that would have been cool for them to connect a little bit more, because
they connected from the beginning. He's the first person he goes and says something to.
Yeah.
You remember, it's through the lens of the chief's pretending he can't talk, but he immediately gravitate towards one another.
Yeah, they do make that evident in the film, but
and I would have liked maybe another scene. You wanted to see more of them talking, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably. I'm with you.
I think it like toward the end when McMurphy died, and kind of like to your point earlier, like it would have. I feel like it would have made it more sentimental. Like maybe that tone wouldn't have been so abrupt had there been maybe like another scene or two to kind of alleviate that shock value or that tonal shift.
Speaking of shock.
What is he? He's a funny line, dude. He's like, "Oh yeah, the next girl I get, I'm gonna light her up like a light bulb, or
like
something."
A pinball machine." I think he says.
Oh, dude, Yeah, I was laughing
that was
out
funny,
loud.
dude. Yeah, there was a bunch. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I was like, dude, I was like laughing at a lot of the stuff.
And usually when movies make you like actually laugh out loud, it's really funny.
Well, I liked it because it's like he's going through all this, and this is how strong of a character he is that he just went through shock treatment, and then he like comes back and he's like walking around all like a zombie, and he looks at the chief and he winks, and then he just sits down and he makes that joke, and you go, that's like how I strive to be. Now, I don't know how to do it. There have been times where I've done it successfully, where I'm like really bothered by something, but I like flip it into a joke to not
lighten
the mood or whatever. But because that's part of it, is when something's really bothering you and you just go, you know what, I'm just gonna not let it affect me. And there's something kind of cool about that.
Yeah,
he doesn't come back angry, and like his personality doesn't change.
Not at all.
Which is how I felt Dufresne was. He goes through all this trauma and he just never loses hope the whole time. So I think there's something you really like about that. They're definitely not the same type of character, but that aspect of them is the same.
Oh, for sure.
So there is... I want to talk about the part where, you mentioned earlier where you can kind of easily go, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy in this?
Right.
Well, in the movie, there's a lot of religious stuff in this movie. Accidentally or like hidden.
Okay.
That you won't necessarily... You probably did notice a lot of it, but there's straight up lines in the book too, and there's stuff that's hidden and referenced that you wouldn't know unless you read the book all the way. But the very beginning of the meeting with McMurphy and the doctor, one of the conversations they have is about fishing. That little conversation at the front doesn't mean anything unless you know it's a reference to what happens in the book. Dr. Spivey goes with them on the fishing trip.
Oh, okay.
But in the movie, it doesn't happen. He doesn't
Right.
go with them because he's doing it like kind of illegally. They actually set up that he's like, oh, my aunt's going to sign us out for a day pass or whatever, but it's just some hookers he knows. I know, dude. This guy's fucking funny as shit. So there's a lot of little things, details like that kind of get lost in the shuffle of the movie.
Right.
But that conversation at the beginning is definitely a reference to the fact that he goes fishing with them in the book. Okay.
Gotcha.
Remember,
Okay.
he's like, oh, it's 30-pound fish.
Yeah.
Point? What would be the point? If not to reference that happens, because it's kind of a useless line, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Just showing that he's trying to be friendly with the.
yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Well, right, but then now you know that you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's a reference.
Right. But how is that like you're going off of like the whole religious aspect?
So, when they go on the fishing, so he's a Jesus figure. He's somebody that comes in and shakes up the establishment. That's kind of Jesus' whole thing. I don't know if you know that. But his whole thing is like the way we do things we got to change this.
Sure.
And that's why he was persecuted and whatever, all his followers. Okay. So, in specifically the mention of the boat and the fishing trip, they don't show this in the movie, but there's 12 guys with them.
Oh.
That's kind of obvious. Kind of nail on the head.
Okay.
Or nail on the...
Oh, man.
Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, man. You can't help yourself, can you?
So there's that, and then the concept of fishing in itself. It serves two purposes. It serves the idea that, remember, there's that story of there's not enough food at the feast, at the wedding
Jesus,
feast, and he just miraculously makes it to where there's more food. Mm-hmm. Cool, and it's fish.
Right.
And then there's a thing that has to do with the Jesus fish. The idea, you ever see that fish that's kind of drawn? It's supposed to represent Christ and whatever. So there's this connection between fishing and Christ.
Got it.
It's kind of very slim if you squint at it, kind of thing. But the 12 people with him is like the disciples.
Jeez, dude, how do you come up with this stuff, bro?
So at the very beginning of, it's like the first time we see them take medicine. It's like the first guy.
Oh yeah, he like takes it like communion. I did notice that.
Right. Bing, bing, bing.
I thought for sure he'd
are
do
you
like the sign
are
of the
you
cross.
listening? Ding, 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 ding. That's a clear. If you caught it, then that's clearly
Oh yeah.
There's other stuff meant for you to catch.
So what do you think the reasoning for that is?
Well, let me finish all the references, then we'll talk more about
Okay.
why it matters or what it's supposed to mean. So there's that part where they go in the swimming pool. He's shown lounging like this. McMurphy is.
Right.
Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And that the being in the water is baptism.
Right.
So again, it's just a visual clue. Very subtle. It's just in there. He clearly told the actor to do that. So there's that. There's a couple of lines in the book that you may or may not have gotten to. Probably not, because I think it's towards the end when they're about to do the shocking for him. The line is, "Anointest my head with conductant. Do I get a crown of thorns?" So he's talking about when they're setting him up to shock him. He's like joking that like there's another Christ, him in Christ.
Jeez.
You are strapped to a table shaped ironically like a cross with a crown of electric sparks in place of thorns.
Oh wow.
So there's multiple
Yeah.
things.
I mean, that wasn't in the movie, but yeah.
That's a line. There's a line from the book. So Billy Bibbit betrays him. Judas.
Oh, because he tells Nurse Ratched like, oh.
Now, granted, she was gonna figure out it was fucking him at the beginning, anyways.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that she knew it was him.
Oh yeah.
But he threw him under the bus.
Dang.
So there's a Judas thing there. What does the chief do?
Oh, so
He sacrifices.
so cheap as God.
Maybe. Well, he did tell the story.
Oh. Dang.
So yeah, there's a lot of
That's
it.
pretty cool.
It's an easy one to see in there. But yeah, so that clues me in to go, you're supposed to look at it like, if the system is evil, you got to think of, I remember like what decade this came out, in the 60s, 70s, whatever the book came out. 1962 is when the book came out.
Okay.
So like the hippie movement didn't really start yet. Or it was just beginning. It was kind of just a thought at the moment. There wasn't this like
peace
free
and
love
love
thing.
and yeah.
Right. So, in this time, this decade, there were reports of places like mental institutions where people were really mistreated. Now, Ken Kesey, the author of this, volunteered at a mental institution. So he wrote about things that he saw. Now, in the movie, you could go,
man,
it's
that's
not, doesn't
crazy.
seem that bad. But
Oh, I think that it's
pretty
there's
bad.
a lot of bad stuff in there.
yeah, it's pretty bad. And therefore, Nurse Ratched, being the representative of that, you're supposed to see her as kind of the bad guy. And here is, yeah, he's a kind of an anti-hero. He's kind of like McMurphy is, because he doesn't give a shit about the rules. He sleeps with whores. He drinks. I think they drink scissor. That's a joke. The codeine, that purple stuff or whatever they drink. There's a part where they bring the girls in and they sneak in some bottles of vodka or whatever, and I think they steal cough syrup from the pharmacy, and they drink cough syrup.
Right. I think so. Another thing I noticed, kind of going on to the religious aspect, is Nurse Ratched and her hair. It almost looked
Horns.
like horns. Yeah. And I was like, that was definitely on purpose.
And when you first see her, there's that red light above her head.
Man, she's creepy, dude.
Her visage never changes. She's always like, her hair's always like that.
Yeah. She never loses
really
her cool.
emotes until he chokes the shit out of her. Yeah.
Yeah. She only loses her cool when was it Chadwick, or I forget his name, Cheswick or something?
Mm-hmm.
He gets all upset, wanted the cigarettes. I think that was the only time she ever like lost her cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she's stoic pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So on Psychedelia, Ken Kesey accidentally.
That's the author, right?
Yeah. This is going to get in some weird territory. We talked about it a little bit on the Clockwork Orange
Oh boy.
episode, where the concept of mind control, we talked about that pretty heavily in that. That's in this. Not in this specific project, but with Ken Kesey himself. So he signed up through... the thing I said didn't exactly say what university or where it was, but there was a CIA experiment called MK Ultra, and a lot of this has been declassified, which means the mind control experiments they're doing are far worse than this, because this is what they declassified. So what are they still hold? What are they still hiding?
Mm-hmm.
Where they would like drug people and not tell them that they're drugged and see how they react, and use subliminal messages to coerce people to do things. And that's basically the whole thing of MK Ultra, was to like use different avenues to learn how to control people.
Jeez.
And Ken Kesey was a part of that project and didn't know it. So he went to this facility or this place to help out, or he volunteered to like help out with some drug or some medicine that was supposed to help with clinical depression, but they gave him LSD, and they didn't tell him that it was that, just to see like how it would work on his mind and whatever. Remember, this is
after he wrote the book?
No,
or?
this was before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was definitely illegal, MK Ultra. So it started with human subjects from 1953 to 1964.
This doesn't even sound real, dude.
No, it's real. The program's goal was to develop mind control techniques to use against the Soviet bloc during the Cold War in response to perceived threats of communist brainwashing. So they always do that. They always use some other threat as the reason why they can get away with doing this.
Right. We got to prepare for
9/11. So yeah, he was a part of this thing. They used psychoactive drugs on people. They did hypnosis. They did sensory deprivation. You ever see that, where they put those like ping pong ball things in your eyes, and because they want to see what your mind does when it's not, there's no stimulus, you can't hear anything, you can't see anything. Like
people lose their minds on that.
People hallucinate. Yeah. Electroshock therapy. Bing, bing, bing. Straight up torture, and I'm gonna bleep this. And sometimes they would do these things, and like not tell anyone. So they could have drugged, like they go, oh, we're gonna get a couple of 12 packs of Coke and drug them, leave them in the supermarket, and see what happens to the people that buy them.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff like that. I'm not saying specifically that, but they would do these really shady, underhanded things, because that's how you do a test. They can't know they're part of the test.
So how did he know that he was a part of this?
It was like revealed later. He found out through something, which someone made that claim that he was a part of it, and then I looked into the MK Ultra. I just asked about MK Ultra, and then it's victims and Ken Kesey's on there. So that I don't know exactly how he found out or how they.
So there was like a group of people that were uncovered.
And there's people thinking that MK Ultra, that Charles Manson was a part of it too.
Oh, that's the serial killer.
He never killed anybody, but he got those.
Yeah,
he got those ladies.
Yes,
he had like a cult.
Yeah.
That had something to do with the CIA also, and that's what killed the hippie movement. Hippie movement died when Charles Manson came on the scene. So, yeah, there's definitely some. So some spooky things going on with the. It makes me think of The Fog a little bit differently in this, where he's perceiving that the nurse is interacting with time or like turning the clock back, and he doesn't see it.
He's probably like on some form of like mind control,
or it's what Ken Kesey felt when he was on LSD. So he's like recalling what it felt like.
Jeez, man.
I don't know. But
probably
it definitely had something to do with his experience.
I'm sure he's written something in this book that shows his experience that he had with that. Gosh, dude, what the?
Isn't that wild? There's interesting stuff going on here. There's it apparently do you know who Kirk Douglas is?
Sounds familiar.
Michael Douglas is another actor.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kirk Douglas is his father. He bought the rights to the book. He could perform it as a play.
Oh, this would be a good play.
And then he gave the rights over to his son, Michael Douglas, and then he allowed the movie to be made.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think they were going to have... There was some talk about who the actors they were going to get to do the Jack Nicholson part. I think it was Burt Reynolds. It could have been Michael Douglas. There were a couple other, like, people like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, there's, like, kind of a lot here. There's definitely, like... You can look... There's a couple of different lenses you can watch this movie in. You can do the is she good, is she bad? You can look at the religious stuff. You can look at the... How much of this has to do with PTSD. You can look at the gritty anti-establishment part of it. You can read this.
It hits a lot, dude.
You can look at it through a feminist lens. Why is it that all the women in this are made to sound really horrible, except the whores? Yeah. That's crazy.
Damn.
Like the way they talk about the mom, the chief's mom, the way Billy Bibbitt's mom is talked about.
Yeah. Of course, Nurse Ratched.
If you take McMurphy at his word that the girl said she was 18 and lied to him and it got him locked up, that probably didn't happen because we know who he is. Mm-hmm. But if we're taking him at his word, she lied and he got in trouble for it. So like every lady that's ever talked about in here is trashed and horrible and awful, not looked at in a good light, and they all like have this sort of fascination and like love for the whores. So there's a feminist part of this. There's this like commentary on misogyny, which that's a rough subject for me.
The author's mom was probably some kind of crazy lady or something.
Maybe not. Could be. I mean, are we that influenced?
I think so.
I think so. I think we are. So
I think it. When it comes to
but why would it be his mom? Why would it be his mom and not like his wife?
Well, some kind of feminine figure in his life.
Probably.
It only makes sense because you're gonna write good art from your experiences.
Well, you didn't. you didn't rate it very high. You rated it a 1. So.
Well, but granted, I'm sure if I picked it up and just actually read it, I'd probably enjoy it.
You probably would. There's definitely a race aspect to this as well. In the book, they have a very. I found this very annoying. I didn't like it, and I can handle books. This is an old book.
Sure.
It's 50. It's 50. This book is 50.
Jeez. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so they keep calling the attendees the black boys, which I found to be really annoying, but also they call him Chief, and he's like, this is not my name. Because he's half Indian.
It's pretty racist.
Right, but again, you have to kind of look at it through, this is written in 1960, whatever.
Right.
That wouldn't have been as weird, but it was hard. I don't mind seeing it sometimes in things that we read. Like when it comes up in a period piece, like Lonesome Dove or something, you go, okay, this is just how they talked back then.
Yeah, but it's also not like littered throughout the entirety of
this is littered. This is at every time they mention one of the people that works there, it's the nurses and then the black boys. And then he even like mentions that if they're like, he calls one of them the lesser black boy. And I was like, does that mean that he's like smaller or skinnier than the other ones? I don't remember. Maybe it was lost on me because I was just trying to read too fast. But I think it means he's like light skinned.
Oh man, that's how it was like worded. Like
the lesser black boy is how he called him. So that's rough.
Yeah, that would be.
That's rough, and that's something those of you out there that are thinking of reading this are gonna
consider that and make
consider that in your estimation of if you're gonna like this. You can look at this through there's a race thing. I mean, it's so much, bro.
There's a lot. Gosh, it's so good though, man.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's so good.
It
is a little long, but
it's a little overlong. The director did a couple of cool projects too. I'm not gonna list all of them here. I just thought 2 of them. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Amadeus. The director of this did Amadeus also, which is another one that you recommended that we do.
Is that the like 2000s? Did you do or is it the older Amadeus?
That's a great question. I'm gonna assume it's the older one, but I don't know. Don't
Amadeus
quote me. I didn't even know there was a new and an old one.
I actually don't know if there's an old one. I'm sure there's an old one, but
why'd you say that then?
Because it's an old story. There was one that was made in the maybe 2000s.
Let's edit that out. What the hell, bro?
What?
Well, I gotta know now because You don't even know if there's an old or a new one. You were just like, oh, is it the old or new one? You don't even know if there's an old or a new one. There's no. You made a distinction for no reason.
Because Amadeus is a play.
Whatever the movie is that I don't even know the actor's name. The guy that plays Omar from Scarface. He's his mentor or whoever, Salieri.
Yeah, okay, that's the one that was done in the.
That's
2000s.
The one I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, let's start that. Let's try that again.
I don't remember what you said.
So, the guy's name is Milo something. Hang on. So the director of this, Milos Forman, directed a couple of other movies. I'm not going to say the whole list here, but a couple of them. That was pretty good. That's pretty much exactly what I said earlier, right?
Yeah, pretty close. Fuck you, bro.
So he did Amadeus. So what you would have done is you should have said which
I know,
one.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. So he did that, and then he did something called The Man on the Moon, which I really liked. I really liked Man on the Moon, even though I watched they did a documentary about it. Man on the Moon was Jim Carrey pretending to be Andy Kaufman, or like playing Andy Kaufman. And then there was this documentary that came out of like the making of Man on the Moon, which I think Danny DeVito's in too.
Oh, okay.
And Jim Carrey's a fucking asshole in that. Like you'll get, because he did Method, so he was pretending to be Andy Kaufman the whole production, and Andy Kaufman was somebody who would have gotten on your nerves real bad.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and both Christopher Lloyd, who was the Back to the Future doctor, and Danny DeVito were in a show called Taxi, which also had Andy Kaufman. Weird. All these people work together.
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah, like and then in The Shining, let's talk about that. Can we talk about that now?
Oh yeah, what's that actor's name?
Scatman Crothers.
Yes.
What a delight! I forgot because I saw this movie the first time a long time ago, and this might have been my like third time seeing it. I kind of don't really remember a second time watching it.
Did this come out before The Shining? I'm sure it did.
It did. So
they probably just like that dynamic, and we're like,
yeah, which is weird. So Kubrick was like, "Oh, you guys work together already. We got to get Scatman."
I'm sure. I mean, it just
how odd.
I actually like the performance from Cuckoo versus The Shining.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because they don't have more screen time together.
Well, it's that, but also Scatman in The Shining is talking to a child most of the time.
Yeah, and like,
so he's like, "Oh, don't you, Doc, ha ha ha," talking. He's doing that thing, and then we barely see him in the movie, and then he gets like murked right away. So
he's all pissed. He's like fuck it. He's like just drinking the bottle of booze and
this
accepting his fate
was one of the funniest. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When his supervisor comes down and he's like, "Well, at night a man gets lonely," and saying all that stuff. I was like, "Dude, Scatman."
Oh man, dude.
And I'm so used to seeing him in The Shining because I've seen The Shining I don't know how many times, but I've only seen this movie a few times, handful, maybe 3 times, and seeing him, I forgot he was in this. Yeah. Or it didn't click that. So when I watched it this time, I was like, Scatman. What's funny is I recognized his gait, his walk. Because I don't know when he first is in the movie, but like when Jack Nicholson sneaks in to get the phone to call out, he like watches him on the screen and you see him kind of walking out, and I was like, "Oh, is that?" And I was like,
"Dude,
oh,
that's funny." I had the exact same thought.
Because he looks the same. He looks the exact same.
Yes, I'm just picturing him like with like a heavy jacket, just walking through.
Walking.
Yeah,
exactly. I was like, "What?"
So I had that thought, and I was like, "No, there's no way." And then I saw him, I was like, "Holy shit,
he's here!" Yeah, and then he's not acting like he's trying to be like a protective father figure. He's just acting like a regular guy.
Yeah,
and I really appreciated that. He's like he meets the one hooker, and he's like, "Oh, just come sit over here," and he's like, "Get comfortable or whatever." And
she's like, "Candy? Oh, it's okay. Baby.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right, baby. It's
come
fine.
over here.
Don't worry about that."
Kind of creepy a little bit, but
not really, not really. He McMurphy was trying to get the girl in there for him.
Yeah, but it was just a little weird. It was a little cringy. Like as soon as they walk in that little bathhouse, he like sets up the little bench and puts like a towel down. I'm like, ugh.
I don't know, man. if your expectation is that you're gonna see a prostitute, I don't think you need to wine dine and 69er, bro.
Okay.
I think you can.
I don't have many interactions with hookers.
Well, you don't treat them like you're taking them on a date.
Sounds like you may have had some interactions.
No, I don't. I'm just saying. It's shit. It's business, bro. Like, yeah, that actually, he was actually being like,
he was being client.
He was being normal.
But what made it kind of concerning is like, because she was like, candy.
That was probably the right thinking on your part to be like.
Had she not done that?
She seemed like she didn't want to be in there,
right?
But also like, I don't know, whatever.
Because it didn't seem like they were hookers. It seemed like they were maybe hookers, but they were also friends.
Right.
So
whatever.
I don't know.
Again, it was misogyny. Right.
Oh God.
But no, it was a delight. It was a delight seeing Scatman in there.
Oh yeah, he was fun to watch.
I wish he was more. I wish he was in there more, dude.
Oh, big time.
One of my favorite scenes in this is when they play basketball and the Chief starts playing.
Put it in the basket, Chief!
I mean, they're cheating and dicking around, but like Danny DeVito like throws the ball into the fence, and Jack goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then the Chief like he holds the net,
Pushes
and I love when he's like just running, and he's just glee, he's happy.
It's very genuine. All of the, and it's interesting because like I know that a mental institution probably even back then was nowhere near like this.
No.
But because of course movies are going to be dramatized to the max. But
right.
The way that the performances the actors had were very genuine, very sincere. And the cool thing about I feel like this film was it was probably a really low budget film. There was probably hardly anything that they had to pay for. I mean, a lot of the scenes take place on the ward, and it's just them sitting around the table, talking, and that's like a good like fourth of the movie is.
Oh yeah, like what maybe the helicopter and the boat. Yeah, everything is mostly there.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. It does finish the way that it started. Did you notice that?
Yes, with like the mountainscape and like him like running off to the yeah.
There's a subtle visual thing too with how they're dressed, because obviously McMurphy when he gets there he's got his beanie and he's got his clothes, and then you see some of the other, I don't know, are they inmates, whatever, patients. A couple of them start like there's one that's like holding a jacket in front of him on one of the meetings. And then the next scene, he's like wearing the jacket. So like, there's this visual thing of like, the more and more they rebel or they stand up for themselves or whatever, the more and more they seem like McMurphy, even in his visual. So that's kind of cool. This is probably not going to mean anything to you, but it was something that I was like, there is a character in a random episode of South Park where Butters, do you know anything about South Park?
Nothing.
There's a character called Butters. Something stupid happens and his parents freak out and take him to like a pray the gay away type camp. Okay. Whatever. So he goes to this camp and he gets a kid that's supposed to be his like accountability buddy, like an accountability buddy, I think they call it, whatever. Okay. But he like hangs out with some other kid and all the kids in there, they think they're gay or they're trying to pray it out of him or whatever. And Butters has to he's not, but so he doesn't understand what's going on. Anyway, the character that he's with, the character design looks just like Billy Bibbit.
Bradley, how about you be Butters' accountability buddy?
Looks just, and he kind of acts and talks like him. And I was like, I wonder if it's, because it's not referencing necessarily One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but
I'm sure
I'll show you and you'll be like, oh, it does look like him.
Oh yeah.
So
because isn't that their thing, like South Park, like they reference pop.
But this movie's so influential. Everybody it's like this is one of those movies that like Shining or whatever that gets referenced constantly, dude. Simpsons did some episode where Barney tries to kill Homer because Homer quits drinking or something, and it's like shot exactly like the One Flew ending. Even Bart like meets a chief that looks like him, the chief in the movie. And he's like, oh, I don't work here. And he just like runs off.
Oh, I don't live here. I'm just dropping off Indian casino pamphlets.
I feel like recently, though, I don't really hear this movie being talked about really at all.
I
Do you?
think.
I mean, you said it yourself. You've only seen the movie total 3 times.
Well,
I feel like if it had much more of an impact, you would have watched it much more than that.
if you talk to people like my brother, who's 22, and you mention anything, he doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Right, so we're kind of doing this movie thing together. I'm trying to get him to watch some stuff and whatever. We've been going through Shyamalan's movies, right? My generation doesn't really do that, or like you're from a different generation. I'm thinking like, yeah, I wasn't alive in 1970 whatever when this movie came out. It's 1975 that this movie came out.
Yeah,
I was like, I wasn't alive back then. What makes you think? Well, you think I grew up watching this movie? No, like I sought it out. I like wanted to look at movies from the past. I wanted to know culturally what was going on. Like what did our grandpa go to the movie theater and see? Mm-hmm. What did he think about this?
Oh man, dude, this was. Imagine watching this back then. Like,
oh yeah, you would have been like, what the fuck?
This is the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, it did. It won Oscars in Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, and Best Adapted Screenplay.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Cleaning house.
Yeah, that's pretty
wow.
Good. Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we're important. Not just blowing smoke up.
No, not at all. This is an iconic film. It's an iconic film. It is going to stand the test of time. I think anybody can watch this now and look at it and just go, wow. I think it's a little slow. It's a little bit long. And I think people have to like know that going in. But I'd be curious. I'd be curious to have Chris watch this and be like, you know, if you can sit through it, you should like really think about this movie and see what you can catch.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot better at catching details in movies.
Really?
Yeah, we watched Unbreakable. And he's not like doing notes like this, but he's like noticing things, and I'm like, man, so you're not just, it's not like ADD
not going over
type
your head.
brain.
You're getting it,
paying attention.
Yeah, so it's not a generational thing. I think just right
it's
now.
Not. I don't think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, just right now. Because I mean, when I was 22, I wasn't necessarily. Maybe I think I watched this maybe like when I was like, I don't know, 25 or so. And I still appreciate it at that time. So, I mean, for 22-year-olds, I mean, I'm sure they'd still like the movie. And they could, but they probably just won't.
It's just the fact that it's not made for people that are used to fast media.
Right.
You look at an 8-second video and you're swiping, and it's like, it's not made for people that do that.
It's crazy to say, but at the same time, like, at least for me, but you're probably right. But I think that this movie's very fast paced.
I would really disagree, but I see your point.
Yeah, but
it's
for
definitely
me, in
not
my media that I
because it draws you in to care about what's going on.
Yeah, what really drives it home is like the character development, the acting ability. Like, to me, all of their little nuances, it's fast paced to me because, you know, what they're doing is not easy, and I can pick up on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The fact that Jack Nicholson, there was a scene where he has this super long pause, and I love it when movies do that. It's one of my favorite things.
He goes, "Yeah, Nurse Ratchet's not very honest." Is it that?
I can't even remember. It might be.
Yeah, because he like doesn't say anything for a second, and then he's like doing this shit. He's like,
yeah, I think that's it.
Because I remember that was a powerful pause, because he's like, because I remember he's weighing out, is this gonna, like, if I answer honestly, is this gonna be bad for me? Is like what I think he's thinking.
Yeah.
Where you're like, because he wants to. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm derailing because you were saying something really, but I mean, I feel like we're talking about the same
for
scene.
sure.
Because I remember being like, oh man,
it's taking you on that ride, and the actors doing it through their facial expressions. It's such a cool art, and I like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if a lot of people. There's a lot of actors that feel the same way, and audiences aren't dumb. They pick up on that. They appreciate that. I appreciate it a little bit, maybe higher than most, but
you're very performance oriented.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's what because I can see when an actor is thinking, and when you can see the actor thinking, it's gone. It's like, that's why I felt like with Christopher Lloyd,
when that happened, we can talk about that in 2 seconds. In the scene that I'm talking about where it looks like he's thinking, I didn't mean Jack Nicholson. I meant the character.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
So that's why it was masterful. That's why it was good. So like, I didn't want to.
You're going through what the character's thinking, not what Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Oh, of course.
Cool. You're saying whenever you can tell, okay, you know, open your eyes wider at this moment. You're saying thinking about it like the performance, like you can tell they're going through the motions in their head as opposed to being the character. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. So what were you going to say about Christopher Lloyd?
You know, and I've kind of seen this in all of his other films as well. It's just kind of the same. Like, what is the character's name? Tabs, and then Dr.
Brown. Doc Brown.
Doc Brown. Kind of similar, like kind of just sporadic, and then
kind of wacky.
I just don't buy it. It's just I see.
Were you
actor.
Were you looking maybe at the character going like, because he didn't seem very wacky to me in this. It was just hard to not see Doc Brown. Maybe is what the thing is.
Maybe, but I just think that
because it wasn't his performance wasn't that. I mean, his character didn't have too much to do in there.
No, but
he gets in a couple of conflicts, but
it just I could definitely tell that he wasn't as believable as other characters. So the other characters were just so believable that his stood out that I just didn't really believe. I just could see like an actor just he's there and he's he's got these lines and he's saying the lines.
You know who go on.
Oh God, who?
No, go on. What were you gonna say?
So yeah, it's just that I can pinpoint pretty, and that's just my opinion. It's art. It's like
yeah, I see what you're
arbitrary.
saying. So, well, I really liked seeing Michael Berryman. He's the guy he's got a strange look, like no eyebrows, and he's huge, bald. The actor's called Michael Berryman. Yeah, Jack Nicholson walks over to him and he's trying to get everybody to raise their hands for the baseball game, and he like takes one look at him. He's like, okay, never mind. He just like walks to the next person. That guy's got a really unique, cool look. He was in the original Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, that's like
he plays one of those
scary,
like people that lives in a irradiated zone. He's like got an unusual look to him. And so
this is kind of fucked up. Did he play the sloth in
maybe
in the Goonies?
I'll put it up here if he did or didn't. But Sloth had prosthetics on, so it could have been kind of anybody.
Yeah.
This guy has just an unusual look.
Yes.
But I liked seeing him. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's another human thing too. You look at okay, yeah, I'm not even gonna go down that path with that character.
Yeah, and you think again, it could be for multiple reasons. It could have been that he had experiences seeing him kind of just loaf around and not do anything. But the illusion was broken for a second because my first thought was, why didn't he go to the chief first?
Yeah, I thought that too.
The scene is funnier the way it happens because it's getting tense.
Mm-hmm.
So the magic of that would have been lost if he had gone to the chief first. But I feel like
logically
he should have gone to the chief.
Yeah,
first.
just good. Yeah, you already have a reputation. You kind of know that he's listening.
He does kind of go along with the shit you put him in.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, but small, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, so watch the movie, guys. We loved it. I think we're done here.
Yeah,
right?
Let's get out of here, man.
Let's get out of here.
I'm gonna go sleep.
It's the end of the night, man. We're gonna go. He's gonna go watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest again, and then
for like 15 minutes and pass out.
We're gonna get out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us again. Leave us some comments on maybe what Jeremy and I should do next. We've got a couple of ideas in the works here. We're supposed to be bringing art back very soon. We are continuing our Shyamalan-a-thon also. Me and Chris and Brandon probably should be bringing you either The Village or Lady in the Water next. I don't know. But we're gonna keep going, and I got some books I want to finish up too. But on that note, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.